Howdy friends, this is your State Representative, Tom Dent. As your trusted friend and neighbor, I am focused on what counts. You, my friends. As a husband and parent, I push for a stronger education and mental health system. As a rancher and pilot, I want to help put a sturdy frame on all our natural resources. I sit on committees for many different topics for a better future for all of us. I am asking for your continued support. Please vote for me, Tom Dent, to continue serving as your state representative. This is Tom Dent, and I approve this message.
The 2018 apple harvest in Washington state is winding down, and as iFiber One News reported several weeks ago, this year's crop is looking slightly smaller than last year's, but of higher quality. The stages for getting fruit off the trees and into marketplaces all around the world are numerous and complex, including the initial phases involved with picking.
So far this year, we haven't seen too many issues with labor. It's described as adequate. It's not overabundant, it's not undersupplied, but it is adequate. It's allowing us to get the fruit off the tree at the optimum quality, which was not the case last season.
Trade policy is another critical factor in the exportation of Washington's biggest cash crop. And although the Washington State Apple Commission is in support of the recent ratification of the long-standing North American Free Trade Agreement, they still hold many concerns over heavy tariffing impacts around the globe, including Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, involving duties on steel and aluminum imported to the U.S.
We still have a 20% duty in Mexico. We still have a 15% duty in China, reflective of 232. And we also have India, which was last year our number 2 export market, talking about an additional 25% duty in retaliation for 232. And then beside that, we have Section 301, which is specific to China. We have a 25% duty in China that we're having to deal with right now. So when you add 25% in China for 301, 15% for Section 302 into China, that's 40% duty that we didn't have last year.
If the nations involved in levying these duties aren't able to strike an accord to lower them, the question of whether or not they would have an impact on apple prices for U.S. consumers is all but elementary.
Oh, absolutely. You got to remember Mexico's our number 1 market. Mexico takes somewhere around 15% of all production. It's about 30% of our exports. So there's 15 million boxes, generally speaking, that move down into Mexico. And if you add 20% duty on top of that, it's going to create issues here in the U.S. domestic market. So when that price goes up 20%, the economics impact the consumer down there dramatically. The only place for that fruit to really go is here in either the U.S. domestic market or Canada. So we will see an impact to prices if we don't come to some type of a solution here in the near term.
The process to end or reduce these higher tariffs, which are poised to create significant effects on the export and domestic price of Washington apples, is ongoing.
The industry is very organized, and we're organized in the context that the Northwest Horticultural Council handles the trade policy issues. It's their priority and their direction given to Congress and the administration of telling them the impacts that we have due to either Section 232 or 301. And they are traveling to Washington, D.C. every other week. We're writing letters. We're participating in larger cooperative ag communities to get the message to Congress and to the administration on how bad this is really hurting us. So that's a continual thing that's going on.
In spite of the concerns facing the apple industry over developing trade issues, the departure of the United States from the Trans-Pacific Partnership last year has not seen a significant impact on Washington growers.
The 2 places where we have seen effect are Vietnam. We didn't get the duty taken off in Vietnam, so it does provide us at a strategic disadvantage compared to some countries. And the other one was Japan, which is really not that affected because there is a protocol, a phytosanitary issue, a pest and disease issue that's really slowing down that progress. So the impact in the apple industry hasn't been too dramatic to non-inclusion in TPP.
Washington's 2018 apple harvest will be completed by mid-November. Reporting for iFiber One News, I'm Chris Hansen.